Kimbo Kimbo, Natatanzambi Yamazulu, King Fukuako Isa, glory, glory. Matondo, first of all, I'm going to say Matondo to the Yaya, to Yapoa, Bena Yapo, to Yapoa, because the Most High should be the one we give thanks to the first. And every time I keep not doing that, I want to give all praise and glory to the Most High for this opportunity to speak to you, because boy, I'm saying it's starting to happen really fast now. We've been talking about this for a while. Twitter, people I've talked to on Twitter, we see it. Um, we see things happening here. A lot of the Christians, they're so confused because they don't understand that the United States is actually represented as the Babylon in the Bible, Mystery Babylon, Egypt, and the Freemasons and secret societies have done a good job of covering that. And even when you reveal it to people, they look at you like you're stupid or you're crazy or something. You know. First, I want to say also Matondo to Chipo Malonga for the video that he did. That was a wonderful inspiration. I want to give a thank you to the Vessel of Yah and Jonathan Chilombo for the video that they did. That was a definitely inspiration for me. I want to thank Pastor Mello for the interactions we have. There's a brother named Seraphim. I want to say thanks to him. He's part of the Tokoistas, and I connected with him, and I've been learning quite a bit about Simon Toko, and he actually gave me a letter that I've been reading about how, I mean, just to see the things that Simon Toko had to go through when he was in exile. And a lot of people, I've even kind of people that laughed about it that don't really know him, but he really manifested the power of the Most High in ways and paid the price. And that's why I keep trying to tell people that when you actually have the Mwanda and Semi of the Holy Spirit, and you can actually demonstrate the power, you become a threat to the establishment. And when the churches couldn't do what he did, and as far as his power and ability, they hated him for that. And that's why I say in this country, in the United States especially, if it's encountered that you have the Mwanda and Semi for real, okay, you are a threat to the establishment because you can actually see the deception. And that's why a lot of people look at us that are woke in this from the diaspora perspective. They look at us as we are woke, that we are crazy, because this is the whole point. When the Moana and Semi comes out, every deception the devil ever puts on people is going to be revealed. And that's why I'm going to get into this George Floyd thing, because I know people on Twitter will know this, that I posted or reposted that what a brother put, or sister I think, about this whole thing with George Floyd, how it was predestined. I'm gonna show you today how the devil messes with your mind, but at the same time, I'm gonna show you in Scripture where we are as far as the Exodus is concerned in this leaving captivity, because like Pastor Mello says, the Bible can have different, it can repeat itself in different times. And the problem with Christianity is you've been brainwashed into thinking that it plays out as that certain things haven't played out or whatever hasn't played out, and you don't even realize is that a lot of things in the Bible have actually played out already, but you don't know that because you're living in a country that was founded on deception. Everybody that's a woken person knows that the founding fathers of this nation, including the Moors and any secret society, founded this country as a form of a New Jerusalem in their minds, and that a lot of it has its basis in Ashkenazi Kabbalism and all the stuff that they do, including much of the Catholic Church, because a lot of people don't understand that the false Messiah has brought a delusion down on people's eyes that the Most High actually sent, because of those who didn't understand that there was a transition when Satan was being worshipped over the Most High at the time when Christianity was really starting to flow big, that the Catholic, that wasn't necessarily the Catholic Church, but the Romans the emperors were starting to lose power, because you got to understand, um, the whole reason why it was necessary for Rome to intercept the disciples and what they were teaching and the power that was growing in their world is that it was exposing the the leadership. Okay, so if you got these people running around that can do all these different things that are powerful and doing things, what does that make you do? It makes you question the Roman establishment. I thought our gods were the gods, and this and that, and how come these people are doing all these different things? And as a Roman, you got to understand that they had authority that was being stripped away from those who had a belief. And the one thing you got to understand about the enemy, and this is where we get so twisted up in this time, and this is what I'm gonna get into, why how the enemy has deceived the whole world about this, is you just think, we have been taught, and we just think that just because you believe in the Most High, or you believe in the Messiah and all this other stuff, or you believe that that you know who the real Hebrews are and all this other stuff that's going on, that we were just going to be able to just walk on, have everything handed to us. Well, that's not true, because we're not home. The Most High has not reestablished His kingdom yet. We that what we call Israel over in the Middle East, as you can see, it's in turmoil. Okay, the Most High, when He says He establishes His kingdom, and I'm gonna get into that. There's no more war. There's no more fighting. There's no more. The animals lay down. The whole. There's peace in His kingdom when He restores his whole tabernacle and all that, and when the Messiah comes. Because, and that is where a lot of doctrine has been twisted. And even, and the sad part about it is science even came out and told the truth about where humanity's origins are connected to what skin color. But yet people will still argue with you and be like, oh no, I don't believe that. But then the Bible actually hints at that and tells you about it. And the Bantu, the Banabetu people, or the Bakongo people, and all the people in Africa, they tell you, well, we already know this. But the problem is we just shrug it off like, oh, you continue to believe what the mainstream society teaches, okay? And you forget who really control anything that's a mainstream society is connected to the Luciferian agenda. Because the Most High has said His people are a peculiar, set apart people. They're not doing what everybody else is doing. And this is be a knock on the door for those who call themselves Christians and want to say they worship the Messiah, because you can't have, I'm going to say this right now, you can't have your cake and eat it too. What do I mean by that? You can't look at the Bible and see the things that are taught and accept those things and then go back and do the things that contradict it. Okay? And this is one of the things that even I'm learning in this awakening is, this is how you can tell that in the society that we live in, it was built as a contradiction to what we're supposed to know. All you gotta do is look at the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, because it's we the people, not we the Most High, not we worshiping the Most High. Okay, we the people. That is a direct. The people rule is a direct contradiction to Scripture, because the Quran, the Most High says, "I rule, and you follow what I say." But if you choose not to, there's going to be consequences for that. And this is where we're coming up to, is that now, as we're coming forward in this captivity and we're coming forward in this understanding of the world, this is how the delusion has been played out for so long that people don't even understand that. You cannot have a pope claiming to be a representative of the Most High in the way that he puts himself, when the Most High says, you come to. That's why I've always tried to, even with people who want to sit there and tell me that I'm wrong about what I say about the church. No man is supposed to hear your sins. You confess your sins to one another, okay? But the forgiveness comes with the Father. It says you tell one another, I wish I had never done this or whatever. But the forgiveness comes with talking to the Most High. The forgiveness comes talking to the Messiah, through the Messiah. You can't expect a priest to, all the Hail Marys and all this other stuff that they do. There's nothing in Scripture about none of that. But yet you want to hear people will sit there and they will justify it, and they will be preachers that, and like I remember what Johnson Columbus says, your greatest threat are going to be pastors, because they don't even understand that all the schools that have been set up to teach theology, our secret society ran. Every last one of them. So our secret societies going to teach you truth that undermines their power. I'm going to ask the question again. Are secret societies going to teach you truth that's going to undermine their power? No way. No way. And that is why it comes down to why this whole thing that's happening with George Floyd it's sad, because this is why I'm going to get into it. Those of us that know the truth about what that United States is Kamata, it has. If you just drive around the United States, you go look at oh man, sorry, Salak, I'm sorry about that. If you go drive around and you look at oh man, what's the word? It's slapping my mind. Around Washington D.C., around your city, around cemeteries, you see. If you go watch images of Egypt. And this is why I get so frustrated with a lot of the people pushing this black, everything is black, 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 it's all good. Because there's white people that are worshiping the same thing that the Egyptians were. That's black. Okay? And they putting it up as an idol. One of the I've been I try not to watch too much TV, but I watched how totems work. I found out how totems really work. That some Native Americans used to put them up. You channel the power of the God that you worship through the totem. So when they put those statues up all around America, they channeling the people who put it up. They channeling the power through the totem. So that obelisk is channeling power that's in Washington D.C. The Statue of Liberty, the Arch, all these different things. This is why the Most High said, don't put up graven images. They even try to make, and I've seen people talk about this on Twitter, but they try to make images of him, and he said, don't do that. Because you don't supposed to have a graven image of me. This is the thing, if you read the book of Jasher, it talks about this. When they were channeling all this energy through these totems, because the Babylonian concept has come into the United States through the secret societies, and that's why I put up something on Facebook, and I even said it on Twitter, that nearly every Egyptian god's name is in the English language. Hero is Heru, which is which is in Greek is Horus, which those of us know that's Tammuz. Okay, I'm trying not to form. I say you ain't trying to be saying these. The concept is so many people are deceived, especially in the word, in the Christianity. I understand is you got idols in this country, idolatry going on everywhere, in the music industry, in the movie industry, in politics. People idolize their senators, their congressmen. The Most High said you ain't supposed to depend on no man for your deliverance of anything. Okay? That's the problem that's happening now, right now. So I'm gonna get into this George Floyd thing. Okay, I'm not saying that I condone the action of the police officer. We know the brother, even though he was connected to the Masons. Those of us who are woke to this, that it's sad that they allow themselves to be a puppet. Okay, I've been watching all the stuff people posting about the beatdown and everything. Guys, those of us who know about what Pastor Mello said about what Simon Toko said about the Most High gave a warning about the time is up, about the real Bantu people, the real Hebrews going home. I'm gonna get into what happens. We gotta remember, we know those of us that are woke know that Trump is a pharaoh in the Most High's eyes. All these Christians want to sit there and say we voted for Trump. He's a man of God. Yeah, he's a Mason, the man of God of Horus, of Ra. Of a man of God of Anu. Okay, that's what's in his mind. I even had a person try to tell me he's turning the pyramid upside down. If you're turning the pyramid upside down, then you're gonna tell the world who the Bantu people are in this country. You'll notice that he's not saying that, even with his brother-in-law, so-called Kushner, who's said to be Jewish, sitting in his house. If he's serving the Most High, he's going to tell you who the real Hebrews are. He's not going to listen to those Ashkenazi people sitting the Ashkenazi people sitting right in his office, the puppet masters. You think you think he's going to sit there and say, if he working for the Most High, he's going to tell you who the real Jews are? But you got black people voting for, loving this man. And they don't understand that even in science, they have proven this. And the sad part about it, Farrakhan said this, bringing you to Islam, which I'm not going to bash the man, because if we're the real Hebrews, then we're the Bantu, Kongo, we're the Bantu people, not the Islam, because Islam came after, Yaqubi, Abana, Yaqubi and Abraham, Abana, Yaqubi and Yissyah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were no Muslims. Okay? So that wasn't the religion they were practicing, and neither was the Messiah that they talk about so much, even though they say, oh, he wasn't the son. Well, that's exactly the same. They say the Islam is saying the exact same thing that that we were saying when we crucified him. He's not the son. He maybe is a prophet, but he's not the son. Okay? That we have no king but Caesar, which Caesar was actually under the control of the false Messiah, Osiris Christos. That was one of the big gods they worship. Okay? They call him, they had a Helios Christos, they had an Osiris Christos. People don't even know this. But Rome was, when they were in Egypt, they called Ra Osiris Christos. Okay? So I'm trying to bring some knowledge to you that people don't understand. We're sitting in Babylon. We're sitting in Rome. Just like Malcolm X tried to tell you. The Church of America, okay, whether you want to believe it or not, has to line up with the Freemasons. The Jesuits order, it was the kind of said they're separate from it. God, like the Mosiah said, the Yissyah said, the devil's house cannot be divided. Okay? They're going to tell you whatever they want to tell you to make you believe whatever you want to believe, because the devil is a liar. The point is, if you're not showing the ways of the Most High, I'm going to get into that scripture too. I had to reread it for myself, because, this is how he's going to show you that I posted somewhere on TD Jakes who said, and he put it in your face, America was never founded as a Christian nation, because every religion can be a Mason. Muslims can be a Mason, Buddhists can be a Mason, Hinduism, devil worshiping, atheists, anybody can be a Mason. Okay? You got different kinds of beliefs saying under one roof, and they're going to tell you that they're Christians, that this country was founded on Christianity, when all the Masons were, with different religions. Even when George Washington was one. I mean, y'all it's time to wake up. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, this whole George Floyd thing. If I reposted this thing that it was in, and I actually remembered this because when somebody posted, I said, "Oh yeah, that was the episode of The Simpsons that caused a lot of black people to get angry back in the '90s because of what it was portraying." And it was like it wasn't that long after the LA riots when they said the guy George was getting beat up by the police. And now the riot that was actually almost ensued when that episode came out has now come to fruition when the reality of it came to be. Because I'm telling you, the one thing the devil does, and this is how he does it. He knows who we are, so he gonna show you what he gonna do to you before he does it. That's what they do. Because allegedly they claim that, as long as they tell you, then it's not like they, in their sick way of thinking, they didn't do anything wrong. They told you they were going to do it, so you were warned. Well, that doesn't that doesn't mean it's right. Just because you told me ahead of time you're going to whoop my behind doesn't mean that when you whoop my behind that the Most High is okay with it. Okay? And that's the complex we're dealing with. Just because you say you're going to go shoot somebody or cause something to happen doesn't mean that it's okay. But see, the point is they don't understand. It's the manipulation of them too, because they're just the foot soldiers for what the four horsemen of the apocalypse are doing, and what these fallen angels are doing. Okay, that's why there's so many things. If you just look at it, that doesn't make sense. Okay, let me get into this. Exodus. And I'm going to read this because, now that we know we're at the very end of our captivity, for those of us in the diaspora, this is a significant event. Because I've had visions about this. Okay? We know who the pharaohs are. Hollywood has even portrayed this, and people don't even realize they think it's just a movie. And I'm realizing they're being shown the retaliation of the Most High of what he's going to do. That's why they keep talking about they're going to raise themselves up from the ashes after it's all said and done. Or so they think. Like I said, the Most High, these demons can make you believe whatever. Okay? Until the reality hits. Alright? And that's one of the reasons why they got to invent a lot of this technological stuff, because you're going to think you're alive and living in a reality, and the reality is going to be, they've been showing us all along. It's going to be like living in virtual reality. Like the Matrix really showed you. Okay? That you don't realize this. The world has already been, that's why I remember when that part could not understand it when she said the world was destroyed when they showed the movie, the lady who wrote the book, and then they were sitting in their cocoons, because that's the point. They're going to have to make the reality after the Most High does his destruction. You're going to be dead, or you're going to be in a comatose state. But your mind is going to be used to manipulate what you see. They're already doing that now. Okay? This is a significant scripture. I'm going to tell you the reason why this whole George thing played out, and now I see why the month of May was so crazy. Because we know that Pastor Miller talked about Simon-Toko, like how he gave the 10-year warning to the people to get out of the Congo land. The King Leopold's army, the angels came down. Now we know the Most High, he even talked about this with me, that he was going to start giving the ultimatum to get us out of here. You got to understand that this is how the Pharaoh, because the world doesn't know that Trump is a Pharaoh, and that the United States is Kamatan. Okay, they got to play this out differently than what the Bible did in the past, when all the gods were visible and we were sitting there and they knew who the Hebrews were and who we weren't. Because remember, the false Messiah came, the real Messiah came, but the deception was brought for those who didn't understand it. That they started to worship the false Messiah but when he started to infiltrate Christianity. Well, not people don't even. I had a guy, a priest, who said, "How did that happen? I don't see how that happened. How could he infiltrate?" It was easy. All he got to do is he told people he was Jesus, and he did that. That's what I'm trying to tell people. The Bible, a lot of things that happen in the Bible. When you read about the part of the scripture where it says there are many antichrists going out today, but Peter said that when it says little children, it's the last hour. And we know that many antichrists are going out in the world today because they knew, the disciples knew that there were going to be people coming into their belief, misleading the sheep. Okay, that's why he said you got to stay strong in your belief because he's going to do some of the things the real Messiah did that you're gonna make you wonder who. But there's one thing, like even Elijah said, he cannot do. He can't raise the dead without help. He doesn't have that power to say, rise, you get up and walk. Okay? That's why you got to have all these witch doctors and stuff do the little incantations and and then the next thing you know, that person, he might be animated, but he's probably demonic. I watched the show where they did that. They brought a person back to life that had been dead, but they didn't know who was in there because the demons can pretend to be people very well. They know your character better than you. So when they reanimate that body, you think you're dealing with, but then you see the person do some stuff like, how do you do that? How did that person just do that? They shapeshift, they do whatever. You think it's the same person? It's like, I'm not the same person. I got stuff. I can do stuff that you can't even see. That's why you got witches doing the stuff that they do. Because I'm not a human being in here anymore. I'm not a human soul. They do this all the time. This is why in the rituals that they do, they manipulate the whole concept. This is the whole nation of the world is under the spell of the false Messiah and his mother. But see, you can't tell nobody that because until you break the connection, until you go to Revelation where it says come out of the harlot, you won't be able to see. You got to come out of the harlot and disconnect yourself from Babylon mentality. The problem is those who are been so drawn into it, who sit there and say, my preacher could not have lied to me. It's like, all you got to do is listen to what they say to find out if it lines up with scripture. All right, let me get into this. This is Exodus, or Sirmah. This is my Hebrew Hallelujah scriptures. By the way, I want to truly thank y'all that keep joining and listening in because I'm not trying to puff myself up. I know there's maybe some people who think I am or looking for attention. I'm genuinely concerned because this is the truth. I have known since the mid-90s when I had an encounter with the devil because I did something stupid and the Most High started to reveal some things to me then. But, he got to go slow with you because unfortunately, the truth wasn't starting to come out yet as much. It's the people started talking about. I know there were Hebrew Israelites back in the '90s, but it really wasn't catching speed. But see, because there were some Hebrew Israelites that had already started. Like I know Yahweh ben Yahweh, they had started to lead people astray. So people were leery about the belief. Okay, the issue that we're running into is when you come up and contradict what people learn in school, what people learn in churches, what people learn by the government that have inbred so many things into you, okay? You can't just come out and telling people, oh, this is not true. Like I know that was my biggest struggle when I was trying to tell people that I knew not when I first started waking up to some things. And this is why I got a little frustrated. I started running away from the calling because I was getting frustrated. I was telling people the government wasn't as real as they think they were. I actually talked to people in the military that were telling me stuff that were already telling me that there was deceptions. The people who worked in the military, I used to work with people in the military. And I also saw, a vision. I knew the Most High said, He said, you're going to see the end of day, the end of this age in '95. And I started to come out of this issue. I experienced a near-death experience, and I started to see things that I started to see the world differently. This is why even my father and I started to, be at odds with one another, the church, everything, because I was starting to catch on that something wasn't right. Okay, but I stopped growing because the demons. I tell you, the demons. Once you get a little taste of it, they don't want you to tell people that you know what the T-Rex image really stands for, or they don't want you to tell people that a lot of these explosions that happened in the United States was really a judgment from the Most High. Because the Most High, because the United States represents Kamata. Okay? And that you're being, so many cults and everything are actually being set up through the Masons to mislead people and to misrepresent a lot of stuff. And because the targeted group, like I said, they don't care about the non-Bantus. They want the Bantu people to be separated. That's who the devil's targeted audience is. The true Hebrews. That's why it's so hard to tell people who think they're Jewish. I said, this is the thing. If this was true, that you are the real people, then why aren't you being treated badly as badly as black people are? Because the devil would hate you with a passion. I mean, yeah, you get called that. You wouldn't be wealthy. You would be broke, like a lot of the black people are. Yes, there are wealthy black people, but the point is that, you would be trodden down. He would hate you. And he already hates people as it is, but he ain't going to sit there and work with you if he can't stand you. That's what people don't understand. Is a group of people. He knows there's no such thing as black or white skin, because scientists, and this is why I hate this, because scientists put it in your face. They say they know that the dominant genetic gene in people is dark skin. That all the other versions of race are modified mutations or recessive genes. So basically, like you said, you can take melanin out, but you can't put melanin back in. And that is exactly what these fallen angels were doing when they were creating some of this white race, when they tricked them people with the stork god. They don't want to tell you. They ain't going to tell you that the white people come from the stork god. They ain't going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that there's no really such thing as white people, because they got to keep this whole charade going. All right. All right. So we're going to Exodus chapter 12. Let's see. This is when we go to where Passover started. And on the 14th day of the month in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread. This is verse 18. You shall eat unleavened bread the first day of the month in the evening. For 7 days to no leaven is to be found in your houses. For anyone eats what is leavened, that same shall be cut off from the congregation of Yisrael, whether sojourner or native of the land. Now, I'm going to get into why, and I got to even work on this myself in Kamata. We are coming to the event where the angel came across and killed every firstborn, and there was a great cry. And I've seen, however they did it, I don't know. I know the people fell ill. I don't know what happened. I mean, we're seeing pestilence now, but they have an event has to take place that's going to break the back of even the elites. Because remember, the Pharaoh's son got killed too. Okay, that's going to make them say, okay, we got to let him go. Because I even watched, I know Yissyah put together a video, and it was a great video about wanting to go to Congo. And I really want to do a part of that. But what I'm seeing from this side of Kamata is Nimrod is ahead of this. Remember the Most High, he's hardened. Remember, he has to harden the Pharaoh's heart. The false Messiah, he's ahead of this. So he's going to make it look like you can't, your passport is going to be, I remember I was listening to that pastor who said, just because you got a passport don't mean we're going to let your butt up out of here. Excuse me for saying that. Your tail. Okay, we're not going to let you up out of here just because you think you got to go. There has to be something that's going to shake their nerve to make them, force them to understand you are not gods. The Most High is the God. Okay? But they're not going to let you know, they don't want the Christians to know that the real wheat is not the people who are connecting themselves to the false Messiah worshiping. The real wheat are those who separate themselves and become different from the world, which means you got to purge the leaven. And in the case of now modern times, is that is all the wickedness in your life. You have to purge that to get ready to go. He told them in this scripture, get rid of the leaven. Now I know in this time they had leavened bread and it was yeast and all that, made leaven rise and everything. But now spiritually in this time, our leaven is the sin that's keeping us, and this is why this whole thing with George Floyd was an attempt to mess us up. Because the Most High knows, they get you to sin, you ain't going nowhere. Okay? You tying yourself to this place. They get you to do wickedness. This is why the Most High has to purge the leaven. When he talks about bringing people out of the wilderness, you got to be cleansed. Okay? But you have to accept the offer. This is why he said, everybody that needs to do this now, get ready. For anyone, Eastward 11, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Yisrael, whether sojourner, and these are for the people that want to argue about whether the people who are not Yisrael are going with us or not. He's saying, whether they be Bongo or Gentile or Bantu, Yisrael. Okay? So you're going to find out there going to be some white people taking your place. And I got to make sure I get myself right for this, because you got to purge out the wickedness. That's why this is why the false Messiah is doing it, because everybody needs to hear what I'm saying, because all that stuff that you're doing in the streets, yes, I understand it's not right. Okay? But you don't understand this is Egypt. This is Kamata. They haven't taught you that. And we're being tormented just like when we were in captivity. But they have to continue to manipulate your mind and keep you. That's why they got so many distractions now happening. Because if you don't stay focused on the task at hand, then you don't get that offer. And I got to make sure I stay on task. I got a lot of work to do. We all got a lot of work to do. That's why that's why that Pastor Miller said it was a process, because not everybody's ready to go. That's why the 10-year thing was given, because we know this is the most deceptive captivity we've ever been in, because they're not telling you the reality behind it. See, in other captivities, none of this stuff was hidden from us. We knew who the gods were. This is the one where they're pretending to be worshiping our God in a different fashion. So we got to get away from what they're teaching. Okay? And Masa called for all the elders of Yisrael and said, now listen to what I'm saying here. So all of you people that's listening to me or listening to anything I say, this is where the elders need to come up and step up. Because now that the old people in America, the old black people, my parents, that's why I keep trying to talk to them. You got to realize you are part of this. Okay, to get out of Kamata, the elders got to come together and do this. Go out and take lambs for yourselves according to the clans and slaughter for the Ipaseka. Now, how is this different from the Passover before? So before we had to go out and cut up a lamb. But the Messiah has come. So the elders have to now start pushing Yissyah Kongo, that the world calls Jesus Christ. The Bantu Messiah, Yissyah. Zambi wa Yisalela. Well, they say that in the Kikongo, in the Chaluba. Zambi wa Yisalela. We got to start pushing this. Yisolele. Yissyah. Yesu. The right name. This is what we got to start putting inside of us and remove Nimrod. This is why the Mosai said you got to get Nimrod out of you. Because he deceived, he came in there and replaced the real Messiah. You got to get that joker out of there. That's why you got to separate from the harlot, because the harlot has put him in there. You get rid of her, you get rid of him. Tammuz, all of that. That's when you're going to really wake up to the understanding of what's going on. Quit hate the hatred. You cannot have hatred in the Most High's kingdom. This is why they're instigating so many different things to make you angry. That is the intention of what they do. The dragon is not going to let you go easily. Okay? So if I'm telling you right now, if the Bango are showing love and you're not, who's going? If they're showing care for others and they're demonstrating compassion for our own, okay, they're going, not you. Because the Most High did not teach hate. He says he hates things. It is not our job to hate. He can do his hatred. Our job is to set the example of how to walk this life. Period. We get too much involved with those that are preaching rebellion. Rebellion, rebellion, rebellion. Why do you think they do that? I'm not saying, they say, oh, it gave us a sissy Messiah. Okay, the problem is when you punch the police officer, he's going to hit you back. So if the real Messiah who died for our zonos would have punched Pilate in his face, now what? What example does he set? He didn't punch Pilate. Simon Toko, when he was being manhandled, thrown into jail, he didn't strike the guard. And that's the thing that we got to realize is, they keep talking about, we turn the other cheek. Well, when you strike back, you give them a reason to beat the crap out of you. Okay? The Most High is going to look at it totally different than if they whooping on you and you ain't done nothing to them than when you threw the punch and they whooping on you. Okay? Because we're supposed to be demonstrating the love of the Most High. We're supposed to be demonstrating righteous ruling, right behavior. But now the problem is we're incompetent, because we didn't demonstrate that. And you're in the land. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. These police officers work for the Pharaoh. They work for the Pharaoh. But they can't let the Christians know that. That's why the high-level police officers or masons, they don't ever, unless you become a mason, they don't always, they make you believe, oh yeah, you're protecting the citizens and you're helping us out and doing everybody right. They're keeping you in line. And I think my cousin actually posted something about Dr. Luther King. Said, it's those who want order versus righteousness. That's who they're working for, the ones who want order, whether it's going to treat you right or not. That's why it's called the New World Order. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to get into it. It says, and you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood. Now, we're not going to put the blood that we have to put over the door is Yissyah Kongo. Tatanzambi Yapowa Bena Yapowa. That's who you gotta put on the mantle. Okay? Because there's a lot of Christians that they already have those who know he isn't white. Because there are Christians that know the truth. That he's black, white, especially some of the white ones. There are those who are already starting, because of what we're teaching, they're starting to do that. They're starting to see. So guess what? If you don't put Yissyah Kongo, Yapowa Bene Yapowa on that door, on that mantle, when this comes, okay, this next thing that's coming, boy, woo. That's why I told people, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is Kamata. This is what they're doing with George Floyd is the retaliation for them saying, no, we are not letting the people go, and look now what we about to do. Oh, and we told you we were going to do this back in the 90s because we already saw this coming. You think in Egypt they didn't know there was a time coming when we had to go home that they didn't try to mess with us? They did. Because the gatekeepers were there. That's why these gatekeepers are still talking them stuff they're talking now. Oh, our communities need to come together and blah, 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 blah. No, tell the people who they are. And they won't do that because they're still working for the Pharaoh. So we got to pray to Tatanzambi Yamazulu that the gatekeepers shut up and tell the truth. Yes, you are Yusolele. To break the whole of the gatekeepers. Period. All right, and it says, you shall, and Yahweh shall pass on to smite the Kamata or Misraim or Egyptians, and shall see the blood of the lintel and pass, and going to pass over you. Okay, so remember, Yissyah is the new Massa, but he has more power than the stick. He has more power than the staff. Way more power. Because he was powering the staff. Okay? So now they're going to deal with him directly and not the staff. So here's what's getting ready to happen. And I'm sure Pastor Mello is very aware of this. That Kamata has to shake for them to fling the doors open. And it's going to shake. Because they got to make sure people are going to have to be wondering This is where it talks about the shock and the awe of the time. That's why everybody's running around like, what's good? I thought we had a pandemic. Now we got a riot. Now they're starting to get faint of heart. They're so. I was actually listening to my mom, and I feel I gotta pray for her because she's starting to have that faintness. Like, what? I'm trying to get her to understand, Mom. This is part of the process of now the deception is getting exposed. So now the time has become stronger in your belief in the Most High, and because she told me she always knew the Messiah was black. She just went along with what my dad was taught for the Methodist Church. Okay. For the most part, they play. The point is, our ancestors here and these elders, they played along. They went along to get along. So even though there's a lot of people who knew the Messiah was black, it was all about go along to get along. Okay, the Most High is saying that's what's keeping you here. That's what's keeping you here. You can't just keep going on, but that doesn't mean you retaliate. You gotta live the scriptures. You gotta live even like what Simon Kimbango said. You don't throw away the Bible just because it's not accurate. You catch the thief with the instrument that he stole. So we know they stole the message from us. Okay? Now, of course, in America, they'll tell you you're going to shoot the thief. Okay? What does Yissyah say? The vengeance is the Most High's. He's going to take care of the thief. It even says that in Zechariah 5:1 where he never said that, he never said that, oh yeah, you Solele, go deal with the thief. He said, I'm going to deal with the thief with this roll that's coming out. This flying roll. Which of course many people, that's why I keep trying to say, you got to understand, boy, you want to sit there and talk about aliens or whatever, the demons still have to obey the Most High. So he sent them to go destroy stuff, they got to do it. So even if these demons flying around in flying saucers, he ordered them to destroy Kamata, they got to do it. They can't tell him no. They know they can't. Satan can't tell him no. We know that. That's why he's deceiving all these Illuminati and Freemason people, because when the Most High tell him he can't do something, he can't tell him no. He knows that. When he said, "Don't touch Job, Yobe, hands off. I didn't kill him. Oh, I made him sick though." And that's the ignorance of how we are. We're giving the devil way too much power, people. I have been guilty of that. We're giving these demons way too much power. When the Most High we come together as a people, man. You think I think like Jonathan Chalumba was saying, Yanata. He said the cups can't touch you. I have actually given you proof of that. I was shocked the day I walked past some gangbangers and they didn't touch me. I was like, what? I was shocked the day the dude was shooting and the bullet didn't even come close. That is the protection of, when I was in that car accident with 40 cars, 18 wheelers, twisted metal, nobody dead. And it was an attempt that the Most High told me about the false Messiah, and the angel showed up to stop him. Because they know who you are. They know, especially those of us that are going to rise up in this end time. You think they don't want to try to stop you? Because if they can't control you, they're going to try to stop you. That's the whole purpose of what the Masons try to do. If they can't control you, they're going to try to stop you. They know that we're coming up with this truth and it's starting to hit home, and they had to do something. And George Floyd's riot and the guy Ahmad. Well, I didn't even think that was a Masonic thing, because you got to understand, we got a lot of Bantus in the Freemasons that do sacrifices to the devil and will never tell you that they did it. And those are the brothers we need to pray for, because they need to come away from Nimrod. I'm seeing some that I already have, but it's not. I'm telling you, once it is really hard to get that protect. You got to really hope for that protection to come in once you have been exposed to those how they've been deceiving us. I mean, I had to sit there and laugh about the SpaceX when somebody was showing a video and it was on the live coverage, and there's a mouse crawling across they showed a little mouse, looked like a little mouse crawling across the where the engine was throttling in space. We're sitting there like, I mean, I didn't even get comments when I posted that because they were so shocked, because you could see it plain as day. It's like, are we that deceived by NASA? There's a mouse crawling across in outer space. Yes, we are deceived because no one goes through the firmament unless the Most High opens the portal. They know that. That's why the only way they get across that firmament with the demons is to go through on the ship or have themselves transported over to the other side. They got to open it. They can't show you that. You know, and that's why, and see, the sad part about it is a lot of these planets and stuff, you know, fallen angels can make themselves look like planets. We know this. They can make themselves look like different things to the naked eye. That is how Satan deceives. I mean, because the problem with humanity is we keep thinking that of these beings like people. They have ways to manipulate themselves so that they can manipulate you. You're looking at a planet that's actually a fallen angel, like, whoa, what planet is that? It's like, that's a fallen angel turning himself into a planet. And you can live on him too. That's why the Most High said, take care of this land we live on, because we living on the spirit of the Most High's land. That's why it was so important for the Masons to desecrate this whole world. Because this whole thing, the secret societies and all the people that worship the devil, to do even in the days of Noah. That's why the Most High had to purge it, because he made this world, it was good. Now it's been desecrated with all the stuff that the Masons and everybody views to be beautiful. And the Most High is like, no, it's not. My world had no buildings. People naked didn't even know. How was this beautiful? I'm trying to tell y'all. Okay? We have been deceived. All right, so it says, and I shall pass. Now here it says, pay close attention. Because I even see movies talk about things happening in the dark. Remember, history repeats itself in the Bible. All right. Pass and smite the Mizraite. You shall see the blood on the lintel. And that angel, of course, we know is going to pass over and not allow the destroyer to come to your house to smite you. Okay, so we are Kamata, right? The destroyer is coming. Now, I'm going to tell you, everybody in the world should know who really represents the destroyer. They call him Nibiru, all kind of other names they want to call it, whatever you want to call it. Okay? This ties into Matthew when it says, and it's already starting to happen, where it says, one shall be taken and one shall be left in the destruction. And we know that taken means dead. Okay? So what we're going to talk about is in this time when the Messiah starts to make, when this destroyer, when the Messiah becomes the wrath of the Most High, and he comes through, because he's going to become the wrath. Okay? This is where you got to get ready, because the destroyer I mean, I know in the days of Egypt, the fallen angel. It was satanic. I mean, it was a demonic being that destroyed. But now the Messiah, like I say, he's more powerful than Massa because he is gonna come. He's been doing this. I remember I saw a tornado. He was in it. He's become the wrath here in Egypt, bringing a lot of and that's why a lot of Christians don't understand. All these hurricanes, tornadoes, all this kind of stuff, okay, against the United States. It's not necessarily coming from them, but coming from the Most High. Yes, there are ones that they like to do, because remember, they have to imitate so that you don't see. Remember when the magicians were in Egypt and they said, explain this to me. How did they do this? So when the Most High comes and he does something, the scientists got to replicate it. That's why they got the technology to do it. Oh, we're going to do the tornado too. Look, ain't nothing big. Oh, we can do the hurricane too. When the Most High bringing judgment, that way they don't get like, oh, this is really the Most High. Oh, we gods too. He can't touch us. We can do the same thing he doing. Remember this? They got more. This is the mindset we're dealing with, people. All right, but now he getting ready to do something that they cannot replicate. And boy, that's when people are gonna be like, "What is going on? We can't even do that." And this is what's coming. That's why I told people, I said, you better hope and pray for your family. Because the event's going to come that these so-called gods cannot replicate. They're going to have to play it off. But that's why when they did the terrorist attack on 9/11, that was something that the fallen angel was ordered to do. That's why they had to tell you it was a terrorist attack. Because the Most High said, I'm sending a warning to Kamata. But they don't want you to know that the United States is Kamata. And the same thing is going to happen. Now the same thing is really going to happen. If the Most High come through, it's going to be like, wow, what was that? We can't replicate that. That has to be, we better let these people go. Okay? He says, and you shall guard this word as a law for you and for your sons forever. And that shall be when you come to the land which your Lord gives you as promised, that you shall guard this service. So, of course, we're going back to Yisrael where he established that covenant. That's why he's calling us out in the wilderness to reestablish that covenant with us. And this is going to be the final, because this is when we rebuild our land, we rebuild what was destroyed, because we broke our covenant when we allowed the Messiah to be crucified. Okay? So we're going to renew the covenant we broke. Okay? That's why we get cleansed. And like I said, so when it says, and it came to be at midnight. Okay, we ain't going to talk about midnight over in the real Kamata. Midnight. Now we know the United States has 3 different time zones, 4. Okay? So I'm not going to sit there and speculate, but where does this country start? In the East, the 13 colonies. So at midnight, and what do isn't that where they always do the ball dropper in the January for the false New Year? That's where everything takes place. That's what they go off of on American Bandstand and Rockin' New Year and all this other stuff. New York is the starter of midnight. That's why I tell people, New York ain't seen nothing yet. They think 9/11 was bad. They think the coronavirus is bad. Boy, whoo! I'm telling you. And the Most High showed me this city's getting ready to shake. That's why it's already starting with the devil's version. Okay? And it said, and it came to be at midnight that Yapoah, Katanzambi, smote all the firstborn in the land of Zisole of Kamata, and from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive. That means Donald Trump, you know who Donald Trump firstborn is, right? People keep showing Trump in the casket, but he the Pharaoh right now. So it's probably a symbolism for the firstborn of Trump. I wouldn't be surprised to watch her. You know who his firstborn is? Well, it might even be her. It might be somebody else he hiding. We don't even know. He might have a firstborn somewhere else. We don't even know. Okay? He the Pharaoh right now. The firstborn, all the livestock. So you're gonna see animals dying. Okay, it smoked the first. He said they smoked the firstborn of everybody. That's why, like I said, I'm a firstborn. I better be in this. Remember who Yissyah is and Yissyah Kongo, but the Messiah, the real one. Because if I'm telling you, bro. Now we know that he did make a promise that he bringing Israel home. All the remnant. Okay, and it said the Pharaoh who sat on the throne to be the firstborn, who was the firstborn of the captive, who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And the Pharaoh rose up in the night, and he and all his servants, and all the Kamataites, Mizrahites, there was a great cry in Kamatah. So look here, man. This is why I'm trying to tell you. From the East Coast to the West Coast to Hawaii, Alaska, there's going to be a great cry. What is going on? Explain this to us, Trump. How did all these people end up dead? Terrorist attack! Terrorist attack! They're going to try to cover it up. But the Most High going to say, we're going to get that message from the angel. Time to go. You got to get up. You want to go? Don't miss that train. That's why you got to make sure you're following this thing, because that's why you got to get yourself prepared spiritually and mentally. And this is going to happen all over the world because we're in the diaspora now. This is all over the world. So all this, the things that happen in the United States, this is why that movie tried to tell you this. What happens in the United States is going to happen in South America, going to happen in Asia, going to happen in all these business places where the diaspora is at. And people are going to be like, what is going on? How did all these people die? And this is the least that are going to help with this, with the false Messiah, with this whole thing. This is what they're waiting for. This is what's going to really cause the population, they call it the population decrease, is this. They know that it's connected. But they ain't going to tell the Christians that. Okay? I'm going to go to Obadiah. That's my mark here. Sorry. Like I said, people think nothing's going to go back to normal. If you haven't noticed, since 2020 started, every month has gotten progressively worse. And I don't even want to know how bad June is going to be, because everybody know the month of June is named after a goddess. prefer, and it's actually connected to Jupiter's wife, and we know who that is. You remember? I remember one day, my cousin couldn't believe it. When I even broke it out to him, he thought I was crazy. I don't know if he got in trouble for it because he might be a Mason. I don't know. When the Thunderbird crashed, the Blue Angel crashed, and then 2 months later, a friend of ours, he wore the number 6. Suddenly had an episode where he died in a car at night, late at night in a car accident. It was strange. Nobody even knew what he was doing out there, but he was a famous person in the military. He wore the number 6. His name was D. Dowers, and I was like, "That's the third 6." That was that was when Obama's last. That was Obama before Obama's last year in office. That right there was the signal of everything that was starting to come down to where we are now. And people don't even realize that. That was the signal, the triple sixes, in 2015, I believe, when Trump got elected, 2016. When he first got elected. And I said, man, and that was actually the time when in October when that lady said, her name is Karen Hughes, and if you go to Roadrunner 777, there's a button on there, I think it's what it's called. He was interviewing 6 years ago a lady named Karen Hughes. Not 6 years ago. It was right at the end of Trump's thing. I mean, right after Obama's thing. And I remember my brother told me this. They tried to nuke South Carolina because they were going to start New World Order then. But the diaspora wasn't ready yet. And I'm sure Pastor Miller can relate to this. We weren't ready yet, so it got stopped. Just like they tried to nuke Hawaii. You got to understand, the devil doesn't want the diaspora to go home. So he's going to make every attempt he can to stop us. Even if it means destroying the world before we get there, which the Most High is like, no, not till the diaspora goes home. He don't want us to go home. So they're making every attempt. The vision of Obadiah, maybe you're familiar with this. This is what the Adon Yehovah said concerning Edom. We have heard a report that Yehovah and a messenger has been sent among the nations, saying, arise and let us rise up against her for battle. So this is where now you're starting to see China, Russia, all these nations. You see now what's happening with Iran and other groups, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and all this stuff is happening. So we haven't, because people don't know that Edomites are here in America. They've tricked you into thinking that they were extinct, but the hybrid's been around here for a while. That's what Edomites really are. They're hybrids. That's why Malcolm X said white devils, because they, if you know the secret I revealed about why they have the babies come from storks. The stork god manipulated the DNA of the Most High, where he created a modified race, and it backfired on us. That's what we're dealing with. The pride of your heart has deceived you, and you dwell in the clefts of the rocks, whose dwelling is high, and who say in your heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Now remember, NORAD is in the rocks. They also have other bases that they put underground, all these different, places. They got, high mountain military bases and all this other stuff around the world. And it says, who shall bring me that? Though you rise high as the eagle, and though you place your nest among the stars, and that's what we talking about. They're going up in space and all this, but it's really right by the firmament is where they really are. Okay. You shall bring down. Though you place your from there, I shall bring you down, declares Jehovah. Now, this cannot be this vision. If you notice, when you go high as an eagle, This cannot be from ancient day prophecy. I mean, yeah, you might have had some people doing some stuff and there was some technological stuff going on. But this got to be now because we got so many things flying as high as the eagle. You know, we got we got military bases in the sky that sometimes they stay up there 24/7. You know, they do these drills to make sure that there's continuity of government and all this. You know, and it's, you know, we know that they have the so-called space station and all this stuff, but we know that there's some secrecy to that because they don't ever go as high as they say they do. You know, and of course the fallen angels are helping them with this too because they can take them across the portal. They can pull them across, but that's what it's saying. He is going to bring this stuff down. So, you know, they just did the SpaceX thing and all that. All this stuff is coming down on their heads because the point is that this is the deception. They think that they can be like him. And they about to find out you have, no matter what these fallen angels have given you the power to do or whatever you can do, you can't touch this. I created it. I know exactly what I see what they do. I saw how you built it. I saw how you did all this stuff. So I know how to destroy it. Is what the Most High is telling them. You know, they think they're going to get over on him, and he don't nothing get past him. He know exactly what to do, and he don't even have to get up off the throne to do it. And that's the point that people got to understand is all this stuff that's going on is all because we can't see, because we're still blind, like the Messiah said. And I'm gonna get into you have eyes, but yet you do not see. But let's get into Revelation. And I'm going to get into this right here. Revelation 6. This is what the part that many Christians don't even understand. This is already going on. And when I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, I heard one of the four living creatures saying like him, a sound of thunder, come and see. And look, I saw a white horse, and he who sat on it holding a bow. And a crown was given to him, and he went out overcoming and to overcome. Okay, the whole world's being overcome, being conquered, okay? Especially us. And look, I saw, and another horse, fiery red, went out, and he was given the one who sat and take peace from the earth. So when they're sitting there telling you we need to have peace, we need to have peace, this angel took it away. So Christians don't even understand. Your peace has been taken. This is why we're having all these riots. This is why we're having all of the wars. This angel has done this. So you can't have, that's why the Most High said, when they're telling you there's peace and security, it's going to be destruction because you can't have peace anymore. Your Soleil is not in existence. That's the deception the Most High, the devil has put on you. The Most High's kingdom does not exist on this earth right now in its current form the way it was when we were there. The kingdom is there. His kingdom is never going to get destroyed. But his people are not home. So where are you going to find peace? This is why you've been dealing with all kind of war since even, that's why, you know, when you look at what happened with the Romans, we never got into all-out war with them. We still had a hedge. And there were people doing some stupid stuff that they shouldn't have been doing. But, you know, because they didn't understand. But the Romans didn't destroy. I mean, they burned the temple, I know, one time because we got out of line. We built it. We rebuilt it. They set to part of the temple. They didn't destroy the whole thing, but people died. I remember that. But right before the Messiah went, I saw that video where they said the Messiah, before he went to his first Passover, that there was an issue where the Romans had a battle and some of the temple got destroyed. But the point is, they never really had a war with us until the hedge was removed. Now they fight us everywhere. That's war. That's why you see, they don't ever tell you the real wars are about fighting Yakubi, Jacob. They going for us everywhere they can find us because the dragon is chasing us. Okay? So that's why when they sit there and tell you peace, it can't be no peace. We can work towards it. You can say it all you want. But peace won't be established until Yissyah shows the peace. How does Yissyah show the peace? We got to be home. That's why everything goes to rest. When the devil gets locked down, you can't have peace till the devil go locked down, because he's gonna be raging battle for every time. That's why when the earth's gonna sit quiet and we're at home chilling, those of us who know, everybody else is gonna be wherever they got put. There ain't gonna be no wars, really. Because the devil's gonna be, they're gonna be unrighteous people doing, just brain. They're gonna be brainwashed, computer automated, doing what they tell them to do. Okay, they ain't gonna know what's going on. All right, and of course the horse. There was a horse, and it said, and when it opened the third seal, I heard the creature say, "Come and see." And looked and saw a black horse. And he sat on it holding a pair of scales in his hands. And I heard a voice in the midst, the four living creatures saying, a measure of wheat for a denarius, 3 measures of barley for a denarius. Do not harm the oil of the wine. So when you look at all of the wealth that's been accumulated among nations, this is what that is. They've been hoarding all the wealth for all this time. But of course, wine and oil are the precious thing. I mean, wine is a big commodity. Was a big commodity. Oil is a big commodity. Uh, you know, this is the things that wineries drive the market. People are always drinking wine. All kind of stuff like that. Wine connoisseurs. I'm watching the video. You can make all kind of money as a wine connoisseur. That's why the Moabite burnt the vineyards in California. Okay, he knows that. And when he opened the forces, I heard the voice of the fourth creature say, "Come and see." And look, I saw a pale horse, Death. Now, who is Death? That's the devil got set loose, bro. People, brothers and sisters, the devil got set loose. This is why Christianity and other religions are in such disarray. You cannot have peace when the devil been set loose. How you gonna have peace? You can't expect things to get better when the devil been set loose. You can't expect things to be improved, okay, if you're allowing the demons out, if you're letting the demons out. Because the Most High turned the world over to the hands of the wicked. So the way we return to the Messiah, this is what Simon Toko was trying to show us. You got to live a righteous life. Okay? Then the Most High can answer you. I'm going to tell you, I got the log. I got to take this out. Because we all in that boat where we got to make sure we're doing it. Because in Kamatai, it's extremely hard to do that because we're already surrounded by wickedness. That's why when I see these Hebrew Israelites saying you got to obey the law, statutes, and commandments and guard the commands, you can do it the best that you can in a place that's already surrounded you with uncleanliness. Because everything that you do in this country is already breaking the 10 commandments. You jump in your car and go down the street, you just broke a 10 commandment. How? Because that's something that the Most High does not approve of. Man-made, that type of thing, especially what you use it for, if you're going to do something you shouldn't be doing, or you idolize it, I like to keep it clean because I know it messes up, but you really idolize it. Like people put all kind of stuff on it and just really, really, really doll it up. and the car is your emphasis. Okay, that's why, or you got to go have the nicest car or whatever. That becomes covetousness. The Ten Commandments. Got to have that car. Okay, that's why they push it in your face. Oh, that you got to drive this new car. You got to have that new car. That's why, because the whole point about it is in Kamata, it's about breaking the Ten Commandments. That's what Christians don't understand. That's why you can sit there and tell your daughter or son it's okay to go to a concert to listen to a person that actually worships the devil in secret and listen to the carnal music they play and think there's nothing wrong with it and go dancing and grooving with them. And you're like, oh, there's nothing wrong. This is a good, clean, they always call it good, clean fun. Even though the lyrics come out of the person's mouth, are messing with your head. And you don't even know it. You know, so I like to have my music on in the background because praise the Most High. But, you know, hallelujah, Kimbo, Natatanzambi Yamazulu, that this is why it was necessary for the Holy Spirit to come out and flow again. Because that was the process that, you know, Tatanzambi wanted to make sure I got to get my church ready because we weren't ready. And over here, we really, as you can see, none of us still not ready. Because the problem is the dragon is going to continue to pursue us until they lock him up. And when they lock him up, you better make sure that you're on the right side. So what I'm saying here, it says the pale horse come and see, and the pale horse, he sat on it, his name was Death, but we know who Death is, and the grave followed him. Well, who's the king of the grave? And the grave followed him, and authority was given him, you know, it talks about Hades, a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with beasts of the earth. So the devil was going to, that's why you see people getting torn up by sharks. Because a lot of those people that are actually getting attacked by these creatures are part of the idolatry part. You know, that's why Christians will say, "Well, I'm following Christianity, right?" But what image are you looking at? Do you put the raven stuff around you? I wore a cross one time on my neck. I was in high school. I'll never forget this. And forgetting to take it off when I was working out, it bent up and it broke. And my aunt had said it to me. I was like, she said she's going to send me the cross. The most I made it to where I never received another physical cross in my life ever again. Even though I used to see people wearing a cross, I never put a cross on my neck. Because the most I started to realize, why do I got to have a cross around my neck to say that I worship the Most High? And the Most High is like, exactly. It's a graven image. You're supposed to internalize the cross. And it isn't even the right cross. For those of us that now know the symbol of the X, they put that on the last. When I was blown away. That zombie showed me. That last Planet of the Apes, they put Caesar on that X and whipping him, mocking the Messiah. Okay? The state. All right. And so now what I'm trying to tell you is, you know, whatever us have known that Babylon is now burning. I remember I told an encounter with the false Messiah, with the harlot. She knew that they were starting to start to burn. This is what I'm trying to tell you. They knew the kings of the earth are starting to burn the harlot. Okay? And we're helping them. But people don't understand that this is all part of burning. What's happening in the United States is symbolizing burning the harlot. The destruction of the harlot has begun. Revelation 17. Let's go there. All right. This is why you're seeing what's happening. And one of the 7 messengers who had 7 bowls came and spoke to me, saying, Come, and I shall show you the judgment of the great whore, sitting on many waters. Now remember, waters in the scriptures can also mean nations. Well, what has America always been called? The melting pot, which it really wasn't. We have how many nations are represented in this country alone? A whole lot of people from different places. I mean, you find people, and that's not always the case in Europe. We have the many nations. We're the ones that have that thing. Bring me your tide, your four, your yearning masses, hurling, wanting to be free. This thing on the statue. But it says here, whom the sovereigns of the earth committed whoring, and inhabitants of the earth were made drunk and with the wine of her whoring. So the Pope technically is like a king in the Most High's eyes. This is why the biggest contributor to the Catholic Church in taxes is the United States. People don't even realize 60% of our taxes, your federal taxes, goes to the Catholic Church. Okay? So we're the richest country in the world. So 60% of what we collect in taxes goes to the harlot, goes to the Catholic Church. Okay? All the who is always the lead when it comes to the nation? The United States is number 1. So all the other nations, kings of their respective lands, which we know that they deceived us because the 10 kings are already set up. The 10 kings, the kingdoms are already set up above their countries. They already set them up. So those kings, they take us as their lead. We're the number 1. Everybody else falls in line. Our king in this, the person who rules this nation is really a king. He's number 1. That's why Trump was like, let's make America great again. Because they know we're the first kingdom in the 10 kingdoms. Okay? And he carried away the Rwanda into the wilderness, and I saw the woman sitting on a scarlet beast covered with the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was dressed in purple scarlet, adorned with gold and precious stones, with pearls, and with the abomination and filthiness of her whoring. And upon her forehead a name written, a secret, Babel the Great, the mother of whores, the abominations of the earth. Okay, I don't have to tell you that the Masons gave you the spirituality of America when they put the statue in the harbor of New York. The biggest version of her. Okay? Now, the Scarlet Beast is the church, the Catholic Church. We know that because they wear the scarlet, and because the churches that are descended are the daughters of the Catholic Church. Okay, so this is why we really support the beast, because the harlot is sitting right over here riding that beast. This is why we're running the show. This is why they set this whole thing up. This is Mystery Babylon, okay? And the world, I remember Chilombo said this very well. America influences all cultures. Let me say it again. America, the United States, influences all cultures. You know, I was listening to, watching a South African movie, and you could see they wanted to be rappers. I know in the Caribbean it's the same way. You know, they want to live like the wealthy. Remember, Robin Leach had the lifestyles of the rich and famous. They want to be they want to be like the superstars in Hollywood, and they want to be, you know, the nice mansions, and they want to be like our president. They want to have, because we always have the best of the best here. Of course, that's built off of the Most High's people. Christians don't know this. Okay. That's why the number one importer of Congo's resources is the United States. Let me say that again. The number one importer of Congo and the African resources is the United States. That's why we got military bases there, guarding it. You think the Most High ain't about to get rid of that? Yeah, he is. Okay, our servicemen, that people say I should thank them for their service. Well, I thank them, but then at the same time, I pray for them to wake up and realize whose army they really serve. Because the Most High does not need help to protect his people. Simon Toko never had an army. Simon Kimbangu never had an army. Martin Luther King Jr. never had an army. Okay? The problem is we think but unfortunately we try to act like here in America that we're protecting something that was not really ours. It's really theirs, the 1%er, because they own all the wealth. That's who you're protecting. What their interests are. And they don't care nothing about you. They're expendable. Dime a dozen. Because of who's controlling them. The hybrids, the fallen ones, the Illuminati are not even human. Okay? The demons. They opened all so many portals and now they walk around in human skin running the show. That's why they walk around fearful of everything that happens. Okay? And it says, and the beast they saw was not and about to come upon the pit of deep and go to destruction. And those on earth whose name are not written in the book of Ubomi or life from the foundation of the world. Okay, so listen to this. This is why you marvel at the harlot. That's why I said you got to quit doing this, because if you're in the foundation, if you're written in the foundation, it says those dwelling on the earth whose names are not written in the book of the Most High from the foundation of the world shall marvel when they see the beast that is not and yet is. Here is the mind having wisdom, the 7 heads of the 7 mountains on which the woman sits. So I know when people say New York is built on 7 mountains, they say Rome, 7 mountains. But you got to understand. And the 10 horns, I'm going to jump down to verse 16. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore, and they lay her waste and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. This is the result of Babylon. They know this is the harlot, this is Ishtar. They're gonna leave her naked. They're gonna burn her. That's why she was looking for help. That's why she wanted protection, because she knows. Eat her flesh, and symbolism of flesh. That's covering. What's covering the United States? She covers the United States. We represent, those of us who are in the harlot represent part of her body. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to see a massive event. Okay? I think when 9/11 happened, that was, they're starting to burn the harlot's flesh is starting to burn. Okay? They know that, let me read it again. 17, for Limo gave it into their hearts to do his mind, to be the one and give her the reign of the beast. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me say it again. Sorry about that. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore. So there's 10 horns represent 10 kingdoms. Remember I told you they're already set up. So the kings of the earth are going to hate Ishtar. She's already running. She's starting to run. She don't even know where to go now. Okay? And they're going to lay her waste and naked. Okay, the city that bears the name of the harlot is New York. They call it Babylon. Okay? Just to give you an idea, the movie that Will Smith made called I Am Legend, I said this before. Remember why they made that movie? It was inhabited by people who were demon possessed. Just like we go to 18. And after this, I saw another message coming down from the Zulu, having great authority, and the earth was lighted from his esteem. And he cried with a mighty voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is become a dwelling or place of demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, and a haunt for every unclean and hated bird. So all the uncleanliness of the birds that the Most High views unclean, or the unclean fowls, will occupy New York. Some of them already do. And then, of course, military planes flying around, they're considered like unclean birds. But, the thing about it is going to fall. And Hollywood, when you look at the city that's destroyed the most on every movie, is New York. And so, Independence Day, the day after tomorrow, where did they go? Deep Impact, Armageddon, the rocket, the rocks that hit it, the asteroid. What's another movie? Oh, Under Siege. No, the Siege, when they had a terrorist attack. Okay, there's another one. But like I said, they're calling it Babylon. They know that's the first city that ever existed in America. When they set up Mystery Babylon. Okay, so don't be surprised. And of course, like the Most High, He's gonna have to purge a lot of wickedness in this country because Hollywood, the West Coast, California is the epitome of do as you will. They do whatever they want to do out there. Believe you me, a lot of things. When you look at the porn industry, Hollywood, everything wicked on social media started in California. So you don't think the Most High ain't gonna do something about that? You just gotta understand. He gotta say I'm sorry to all those other cities that he destroyed for wickedness. You gotta understand. He cannot not destroy these cities when he did it to other nations before us. That's why they're trying to ramp up so much protection right now, because they know he has to do this. He has to destroy the wickedness. That's why they're doing all these code words about Space Force and we gotta get on. They're talking about we gotta get out of here. We gotta find someplace else to live. They already know. Okay, the wicked know that he coming to give his answer. They keep telling him no. He doesn't have the last no about his people getting let go. The last no. So the hammer got to boom. Bring the hammer now. The great and terrible day. Getting ready to hit. Shock and awe. I had the vision of the building, of people falling out the buildings, buildings toppling over, things catching on fire, all kind of stuff. EMP bursts going on, electricity gone. But of course, they're going to try to have to, for those. And then, of course, we out. All the black people gone. That's what they're going to really say. But we miss a lot of black people around here. This is when they're going to have to come up with all of these excuses. Oh, well, this is what happened and this and this and this. Because the Christian's going to be like, how did we get it wrong? I thought we were supposed to be up out of here. You see? And I'm saying, when that death comes, they cover our rapture and they want to call it all that the first resurrection or whatever. They think they don't understand we're going to where the Most High is setting up his kingdom, to his city. They thinking they're going way up somewhere. Most High's like, we all know where the Most High kingdom is here and around all of us. See how the deception works? We know where the holy mountain's at. We know where Yissyah is, where the great city is going to be rebuilt. They people don't have a clue. They think they're going up in the sky somewhere. They're like, oh, what y'all talking about? They ain't going nowhere. They're going back to Yissyah, Africa, Azania. They even put that in the movie 2012. Africa didn't even get touched. Remember that? They said, oh, it didn't even happen. Nothing happened in Africa. Exactly. And that's the thing, man. People better realize the kingdom of the Most High is here. The Most High is here. The Messiah is here. He rises above us. His throne is above us, but he is here. That's why he said, I never left my people. But you got to sit there and find him. You got to come to him. He gonna seek you out. He doing like like you say, you lost a land. He's seeking you out. Okay, that's why he's trying to find us now. He's trying to pull us together. That's why he had to get us out of all these wicked churches. That's why he had to get all the religion. He said, man, y'all got to come out of that. He's trying to get us to come out. He calling the lamb. Come on, lamb. Come on, lamb. Get the hook. Come on, let's go. You're lost. Lamb, you're lost. Sheep, you're lost. Come on. The good shepherd. You've been following the bad shepherd. See, he's been taking you to the slaughter, giving away up all your money. Helping you benefit those that don't care about you, putting on a good face so that you can feel sorry, suckering you into a lot of things that you didn't even know. That's not what the good shepherd's going to do. There's no conditions. All you got to do is just be righteous, which is what he always wanted us to begin with. Following the Most High's laws, living a righteous life, doing things that staying away from things that are wicked, myself included. In a land where we're surrounded by wickedness, you walk out the door, you got idols everywhere. That's why it's so hard for these people to try to say, oh, you're supposed to live by the law statute, you're supposed to do this. But you just got to have a good heart and a good spirit of worship with the Most High and do your best to guard his commands. When you're in captivity, you have to remember, when we were in Egypt or Babylon or Syria, all these other, we did, only certain people didn't do. I mean, it was like Daniel, he stayed away from the meat, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they didn't bow down. But see, that's the whole concept of here. They tricked us. You had to bow down, or they whoop your behind, they kill you, they do, cut your foot off, all kind of stuff. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell them it's not, that kind of stuff happened. Tell your people quit talking about the stuff that's not true, or we know, and you can't talk about. That's why we didn't want them to read the Bible and all this stuff. They were trying to keep us in the dark, and that is exactly why you have so many people here that don't even know it. So many Bantu descendants are like, "What are you talking about?" Because they have made a world that they feel comfortable in now. That's why the Most High is tearing it down, because he's like, look, you feel comfortable in this place. It's about to be over with. I think Issachar said it the most. Brother Issachar, sorry I didn't mention this earlier. Thank you for what you've done as well and your family. Matondo Masaka. And what we fail to realize is that in this land, we're trying to come out of it spiritually, and it's not easy because there are too many people looking at you like, wait a minute, those people over there, they're the Jews. That's why Satan got slick with it. Because the way to keep you in your captivity is to steal your identity. Wait a minute, you can't be them. They already in their place. See, the devil is not stupid. The synagogue of Satan had to be established so that the Christians wouldn't know who was in the captivity. So that when Christians and stuff who read the Bible wouldn't pick up the ones they were trying to keep deceived. That's why they had to tell us that, these black people, they come from all these different wild tribes and this and that. That's why they had to make up all the stories. Because if the Christians would have said, wait a second, that's Yakub, that's Jacob? What are we doing? They couldn't let them know that. That's why the Ashkenazi Jews played such a role in the slave trade. Because they wanted to make sure that none of that stuff got out. To make sure that the identity stayed with them. Okay? And that's why they're still fighting it to this day. No, they're not the real Jews. No, they're not. No. And they're arguing and saying, we know the traditions and da 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 da. And the Most High is like, that isn't even the way it was supposed to be done. You guys are making up the stuff that we didn't even do. That's why you see some of the dances they do and the names they come up with. He's like, what is that? We never did that. And that's the concept that's been happening, that's been handed down from generation to generation, that the converts were in there as soon as the first century, out of Rome. The Khazars were occupied by Rome. And that's the thing. And the sad part about it is you get people arguing with you, and then you see Netanyahu go to the Ukraine, and he's doing all these traditions. He said, I know all of these Ukrainian traditions. What? Then how can you be the real Jews? If you're comfortable with the Ukrainian traditions. Y'all don't. That's why Ukrainians are playing such a pivotal role in a lot of this stuff. Because they know where they come from. And that is why it's a significant time to realize, I'm not trying to be hateful, like some people try to say. No, I don't want to see anybody go to hell. I know that's not a place you want to go. When the devil gets locked up, you don't want to be. That's why the Most High said he wished none would perish. He don't want to kill nobody. He don't want to destroy all these things. He's sorrowful that these other people got created through the wicked. That's why we needed to teach them how to be right. Because it's not their fault that these fallen angels did what they did. But we needed to set the example, and we didn't do that. That's why they're coming back on us. Okay? And that's the sad part about this whole thing is we're not setting a good example with what we're doing out in the streets. Many of us. And I know it's not all of us, because some of that stuff is being instigated by the secret society people pretending to be, But that's the whole way. That's the concept is we need to realize that the devil's going to put every and all stumbling blocks so that we can't get to that point where it says remove the leaven before you get out. And I got to work on that myself. We got to get this leaven. You got to quit doing wickedness, because that's what's going to help you build that spiritual connection with the Most High when you come out. Because you got to get rid of all of the idol attachments. It's like, it ain't going to be like the last time where you burn the golden calf, because that's the Messiah is going to be there, telling you what you're supposed to do. You don't need to write down nothing on those stones. He already has it. But you got to realize it's not playing out. It wasn't supposed to be just, oh, well, I came into the knowledge of the truth. Oh, I got it now. We good. No. The dragon, like I said, go to Revelation real quick. Pastor Miller said this. Just because you came into the awakening, the true awakening, like I said, you got to remember the Masons thought of everything in this awakening to keep us from, not everything, but they thought of every way they could to get, even, like I said, there's Hebrew Israelites. When I showed my wife, Eddie Murphy was claiming to be a Hebrew Israelite, said, there's no way that man separated himself from Nimrod with that big old star on his chest. This is what they do. The Most High said each organization, each belief gets a little bit of the truth within their lie. They gotta have some truth to draw you in. But they can't give you the whole picture. That's why the Bantus that are trying to wake you up are catching so much static. Because they're teaching you the whole picture. You're getting like me, I'm teaching you the whole picture, and I'm telling you, you don't think the devil want to jack me up? That's why you got to have that protection at the Mwanda and Semi. That's why the real disciples and everybody, they wanted to jack them up so bad. Those that didn't like what they were saying, but they couldn't until were allowed to. That's why it says, I choose when I put myself down and bring myself back up, or they have to have the authority to kill them. That's why even all the attempt the devil made on me, he didn't have the permission. He made attempts because the Most High wanted people to rise his people up in this day, and he knew that there were those that, like myself, were like, man, something is wrong with what we're knowing. I said, I don't understand. Even when I was in high school, my dad and I used to fight this all the time. I said, I don't understand. If this science is not of the Most High, or this stuff they're teaching is, why do we have to keep learning it? But then I'm learning, the concept was, but you just need, you got to learn it to know, not have knowledge. But the point is that the Most High says, use that knowledge against them. Don't always believe what they're telling you. Check it. That's how I learned that most of the stuff was Babylonian based. The way they were doing things in Babylon, and the scientists, the alchemy, that's where it comes from. And a lot of that stuff they stole from us, but we were doing it in the right way, not the way they're doing it. All right, let's go to Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was thrown out. The serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who leads the world astray. He was thrown down to earth, and his messengers were thrown out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying to Zulu, now we have come to the deliverance and the power of the reign of our Elimo, and the authority of the Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brothers who accused them for Elimo day and night has been thrown down. Now, I'm going to tell you, and this is where Christianity and many other religions don't understand it. I even got confused one time. When I heard a big earthquake, I thought that was it. No, he got thrown down a while ago. That's why Pastor Miller was saying he'd been pursuing us since they've been thrown down. This is why they're working in the governments. This is why they're hiding in plain sight. Manipulating stuff behind the scenes. Because it says, that's why the heavens have rejoiced. But see, the Most High is trying to tell you, woe, that's why it says, woe to the earth. Because of this, rejoice, O Zulu, and you who dwell to them, But it says, woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has now come down to you. So it's like, whoa, man, now we got a problem down here. And this is why, if you look at the last century, since that third prophecy of Fatima, since what happened at Fatima and probably before that, they knew, okay, this is why everything started to change. As far as the wickedness was concerned, as far as the intention, yeah, the Most High allowed things to get his word out, but this is why, if you notice, everything that was made had to have an evil intent. War, deception, mind twisting, whatever they wanted to do with it, it had to have an application to mind to control these people. Why is that? Because we can't let them know that this has happened. Who's behind the scenes? Okay. And when the dragon saw he had been thrown down, he said he went to persecute the woman who gave birth to the male child. And the woman was given 2 wings, and she was out. Most High took her, escaped. But the child, of course, we know what happened with Simon Toko with the child. Yeah, they tried to kill him, but he couldn't kill him because he was brought up to the Most High. So now, so the earth has helped the woman. Remember the earth took the woman in. Okay? But enraged with the dragon was enraged with the woman, he went to fight with the remnant of her seed. Banabetu. Disolele. This is why we're out in the streets acting a fool right now. Because the dragon said, I'm fighting you. I'm going to do everything that I can to come after this remnant. And they're going to get thrown in prison with me. And this is why our lives are so complicated. Why we can't see the manipulation. Why they won't tell us the truth until the Most High forces it out of them. Because they got to, I really believe. I mean, we prayed for the Pope to do it, but Nimrod, like I said, the dragon was holding his neck like, you better not say it yet. But there's going to come a time where he going to say, the grip is going to be taken away. You got to say it now. The angel's going to make him say it. When the Most High give that, because the point is, we got to get ready to receive this truth. We got to get ready. Because it is going to be a serious blow. To a lot of people like, what? And it's changing things. I mean, enough is starting to change right now. Because, see, I told you, the dragon had a plan. Yes, you know, if you remember, I remember when they talked about what happened in Congo with King Leopold. Even though they got the warning, it was like, we're going to still beat up on these people. So that's why with Simon Toko's warning to the Messiah and the Most High, the dragon's like, I don't care. We're going to still beat up on you. That's why the Most High is going to start shaking some things bad. He's going to have a response to this whole riot thing. And the response, I've seen the vision, and I was like, man, man, it's not going to be pretty. Because they know they got the 10 years, and the Most High is going to be like, okay. I mean, the 10 years, they pulling us out. They're pulling us out. But the only people getting pulled out are the people that's getting the train coming by. You know, you ready to go. You put Yissyah Kongo, you put the truth in you. You cleanse out the leaven, like I got to do. All of us got to do. Got to get that leaven cleansed. You know, do our best to walk in righteousness. Because if you don't, that train's gonna pass you by, and you're gonna be stuck with the false Messiah. Because the Most High said, even the sojourner had to cleanse themselves. See, that kind of gives you an idea. Like I keep trying to tell people why there were Hebrews around the world, even after we brought back into our home back in those days. Because they didn't leave with us. Because of what it says in the book. It says you got to get yourself ready to leave. If you don't get your mind ready to leave, you don't want to leave Kamata. Because like he said, the ones that did it, we don't even know about the ones that did it. The scripture doesn't make it clear. There's possibility that there were those who didn't put the blood on their life, on their thing. They didn't go along with it. And we're seeing that now. There's people here in America, they're not going along with what we're telling them. Like, no, you're crazy. There's nothing wrong with this country. And it's like, okay, you keep hanging on to Kamata, you're going to stay with Kamata for eternity. The mindset, everything that happens to it. You don't let go of Babylon. That's why he said, come out of her, my people. So you do not partake in her sins. You got to leave Babylon spiritually, mentally, all of that. You got to make sure, like I said, it's coming down to what Messiah you going to take. The real one or the fake one. Those of us trying to tell you the real one is not the one they've been showing you. And they're going to deceive you with that. They're going don't think they ain't going to have a fake Jesus up there flying, okay, before the real one do his thing. Because they got to keep the deception rolling. They know the more of us realize they got to get it. They have that projection or whatever, Project Bluebeam. They've used it they practiced. There was one, a guy posted it on Twitter of a Jesus flying in the air, getting ready for it, because they know that there's going to be a destruction. That's what it's did. The terrorists got to go first, and they're going to think they're going with the real Messiah. It's going to be a deception. And that's why we got to watch out and be vigilant about who. That's why we got to have discernment, especially now. Because this whole thing that's happening right now is the biggest deception I've ever seen. Especially after they already announced it in a Simpsons movie, cartoon. And it's sad that so many of us are being injured and beat down and incarcerated. And our own brothers are helping that cause to happen. We need to wake up and come to the realization that because we're in Kamata, anytime the Mosai says, and this has been going on for a while now, anytime he says, let my people go, man, they come down. Look what happened. In the 60s and 70s and the drugs and everything, they always come down. When the Mosai try to tell them, let them go, let us go, they come with something that harms black people. They got all kind of stuff lined up against black people. They know. The Moors, they know the difference between. That's why when they put their little flag out, they don't touch them. They don't get touched. They know, but they still think they're the chosen. No, the chosen still getting beat down, struggling with jobs, trying to make it, trying to do, sorry, they're trying to break us down. They know who not to mess with when it comes to the Moors. Who's flying that flag? That's what I'm saying. They're not the ones because they know Mosai, like, they can say what they want to say, but they're still teaching you false beliefs. They still worshiping in the harlot in another way. They just don't understand that, because demons can tell you whatever. Every group that they say, like even the Oscar dudes, oh yeah, the demons can tell you whatever. Oh yeah, you the chosen. Or they like they told the Masons, oh, you're gonna be above the judgment. Psh, the devil himself isn't even gonna be above the judgment. How you gonna be? He gotta get locked down. How you gonna be above the judgment? Come on, man. And that's the thing that it's so ridiculous about our own people falling for that and thinking, oh yeah, we gatekeepers. Oh no, you can't let them leave because then that money go with the wealth goes back to the Most High because he gonna take his money back. He already said so. He gonna get his money back, and there ain't nothing they can do about it. All right, so I really want people to understand these times we're in. You know, Betwabu, Bayete and Kosiyama, I say that too. Kimbo, Kimla, Tanzambi, Yamazulu. We are living in prophetic times. I'm trying to be one of the brothers to rise up, Kumbayahoa, which we now know doesn't mean come by here, but raise us up, O Most High. That's why they wanted to change the words to my Lord and all this stuff because they knew it was a powerful song. And the reality is, I've seen a lot of people, Africans that come from West Africa here in America, Bantu people, descendants, and they don't get it. They're like someone said, they're just as lost in Africa as they are here. And I talked to them as a brother who called himself a Christian. He's like, I don't know about no zombie. I don't know what that is. And the thing about it is it's in the middle of the Africa, Tatanzambi, Yamazulu, and it's like I have to look into that. And I told this one lady from Ghana, she's like, I have to ask somebody. I was really a Christian, and I'm like, I'm not saying anything different other than the fact that you don't know that you're the Hebrew. I don't know if I believe that. See? And that's people coming here. They don't even realize that the United States is coming. They're coming over here willingly now before we were being yanked. Because they think it's so much better over here. I'm like, no, not really. You should talk to the black people that have been here. You really got to you really got to buy into the system. And the system is it's fraudulent. It's deceptive. You pay now. You can't just like how we've been paying money to jack up y'all people over there. Now you contributing too, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking back what you did, what you're making, and they throwing it back on the people over there. That's why the Most High about to bring some serious shaking, because those who have allowed themselves to be distracted. All right. So Kimbo Kimbo Tanzambi Yamazulu, Kimfuko Akuisa, Matondo Baba. I want to offer a prayer right now. Tatanzambi Yamazulu, Matondo Baba, for this opportunity to speak to the brothers and sisters in the diaspora and also in the kingdom. And for any others who are listening to me that don't understand what's going on in this world today, and they're living in a confusion. And it's unfortunate because there's been a doctrine that's been spread that's creating a lot of confusion among people about who the real people are and about who the chosen are and who are the wheat and the tares. Tatanzambi praying for the Kongo people, the Bantu people scattered, all the Bongo who really want to believe in your people, and those who want to seek you the correct way, not the idol, not the false Messiah and all the other deceivers, but the true Most High. Tatanzami, I pray that you will help these people to come grow in their knowledge and wisdom. In the mighty name, Yapoa Bene Yapoa, Yissyah Kongo, Ingeta. Hallelujah. Okay, so that's my message. I know I don't always do messages every day like everybody else does because I like to listen and learn and grow before I speak. My other videos I've shown There's a lot of connections that we don't understand. I actually had a conversation with Pastor Mello, and I know there's still this resistance about Native American spirituality when there really was no such word. Native American was a designation, just like they call us Native African American or Native. This was something that they came up with to separate race types of people. Indian for sure. The country of India was not called India when Columbus came over here. That's why that was the biggest lie. Everybody, when people did their research about that, when they kept saying, that's how they learned Columbus was lying, because they said, "Oh, I called them Indians because I thought I was going to India." And they're like, "Well, the British didn't even call it that yet. When they occupied India, it wasn't called India." I can't remember the name offhand. I have to research it for you, but it wasn't even called India. And that's how we know the derivative of the word Indian was actually designed. It was designed to be derogatory against the people that were here. And it was a way to group all the different tribes that they saw as one group when they were not. All the tribes were not. I didn't realize this. All the Native Americans over there, tribes were not the same. They were like how it was in Africa. There were some tribes that were doing stuff like the Most High was saying. They actually did Sabbaths and stuff. And there were other tribes like the Hamites, because they were Hamites, and they were Japheth and Shemites. So they were worshiping idols. But we were like how we did. We that's how I found out. That's why I was shocked when I found out that the name Wakanda that they talk about was actually the Most High's name to the Omaha Indians. What they called the Most High Wakanda. And that's what I'm saying is that with Pastor Miller, I discovered we made a discovery. Manitou is something similar to Muntu, and he wanted me to research, and I thought about it. Then I came across. It's gonna blow your mind. When he made me do that, when he had me do that, I said not made me, but had me do that. I came across because there's a city called Manatee in Colorado, Manatee. And the Algonquin Native Americans called the Most High Gitche Manatee. The Christians that came here, the missionaries, were able to make the connection that Gitche Manatee was the God that created the earth, the heaven and earth, was their way to call him. Okay? And they said, oh, and this is why they hide a lot of the history of the Native Americans when they reprogrammed them. Because the Christians were making the connections that, whoa, these people calling on the same God we worship in. They're calling him by a name. They're not calling him God, they're calling him Gitche Manatee. And the same thing happened with Wakanda, and it was like, that's why I said, I'm not saying that all Native Americans were Bantu, because there were Shemites. I mean, you gotta understand, Shem had other sons, okay, and besides our Paksha that we come from. And we have to remember, in the book of Jasher, okay, everybody besides Shem and Noah were worshiping false idols. Even Ham and Japheth, for some odd reason. I don't even know why. That's why their children went astray. And it was Abana, Abraham, who finally said, and that's why he ran to them, to run away from Nimrod. Nimrod was chasing him, because he knew Esau was going to kill him. He said he didn't know Esau, but he knew Nimrod had a vision in that book that said somebody from your line is going to kill. This is why he's been pursuing Bantu people for generations, because Esau cut his head off. And he want to get everybody affiliated with Abana. That's why he persecutes the Muslims so much. because they're still descendants. Ishmael, because they're still descendants of Abraham, even though they're not the chosen. Because he won't pay. That's Ishtar. They called it Ishtar's Revenge. They actually had a book about that. And she wrote on him as a bull. That's why they put the bull, the bull riding, the bull. It's all connected to ball in the bull. Because she wanted revenge for that, and she's been revenging for the death of her son for up till now. Okay, so it ain't like it went away, and now her power is gone because she's starting to lose her control. But because they're done with her. But this is the world we living in, people. It's not going to get any better. It's going to. Matter of fact, my uncle even said I prayed for him. He actually found out he had some issues heart-wise. I really prayed for him because he was in the armed military. He's one of those older people, elders that you can't tell him nothing. It's just hard. Most part of people are hard-headed. Well, what does it matter? If he's white or black, kind of mentality from the South Carolina, and it's like this is why it's so hard to wake people up because he says, well, you're going against what millions of people around the world have already. Yeah, but that's the point. You don't get it. We have been deceived because of it. That's why I said they going down that path where they're like, oh, we think we got it right, but you got it wrong. That's like, why do you think you said it? Why do you think you said it? Now everybody call me Lord, Lord. Well, I say, depart from me. I never knew you. I'm not gonna answer everybody. So I just, I pray and hope that everybody will come to this realization. Even the brothers, that I know there's been a lot of heat between the West Africans and the truth about that. And I actually have a friend of mine from Nigeria that we know each other pretty well. And I've been kind of blowing him away with some stuff that he's finding out for himself. And we can't keep bickering. And I get it. There's a lot of people promoting that everything black is what we need to be doing. When we forget that it's black people that got ourselves in this mess in the first place, because nobody was white. Okay, the disobedience came from black on black people. That's what started it. The Africans were black. The Egyptians were black. The Hamites, everybody. All I know is kids were black. So to sit there and push this concept, you got the white people are black whites. White blacks who've been modified to believe, this is how it happened. They got changed. They got created. They got, whatever happened on Atlantis that they want to act like it didn't exist. That's why they act like it don't exist, because they know where it comes from, where it is. Because the minute you say it's real, then people want to know, well, what happened on this island? That's the island of Gentiles. I had somebody try to tell me that Great Britain was the island of Gentiles. I'm like, it didn't exist. Because the continents were together when the brothers got their land distributed. That's why I had a guy I was listening to who said there's proof the ocean floor spread apart faster, way faster than what they've been calculating. So it proves what happened with Pele. That the Mosai, boom, the volcano, boom, blew up Atlantis, boom, things went flying. The tower came tumbling down. All that stuff was going on. I think actually, I was thinking about something. I thought Atlantis completely sunk, but I remembered the cartoon they made, and they showed you the truth on that cartoon. And they gave you the story of Atlantis, and they said that something got stolen, and it sunk. That caused it to sink. And I learned it was Yakubi who hid I found out that Yakubi, when he hid the tablets of destiny from the Anunnaki, that took away the power of Atlantis, because those tablets were actually the power source. And I didn't even realize, because they stole them from the Nephilim. And the power source, that was what was powering the whole thing. And that's why they went down, because only the people that could survive were the fallen angels, because they don't die. So the people that couldn't live there anymore unless you got turned into a fish like a mermaid. So it changed everything. Anyway, Kimbo Kimanata Tanzambi Yamazulu. Blessings be upon Balamansaka. People here, that means be blessed. Sambu Ololo. And really appreciate the people that have joined. And I hope that I've been that the Most High's words have blessed, coming through me, that we need to come together. We need unity. We need unity. Unity is the only way to defeat the false Messiah. And that's why that's why they made a plan specifically called King Alfred, to stop that, to create the different organizations to keep us fighting one another. But now even they preach in unity. But see, they keep throwing in those little saboteurs to stop that. Okay? The saboteurs are stopping the unity. You gotta wake up and realize that, okay, look, obviously this ain't right. We need to be unified in this. We ain't gonna be sitting there trashing stuff. So this is why we need to wake up. All right, Ingita and Salam.